so much for making time to join us. When we call and you adhered to our call and you left your offices unattended and took a risk but to come and support us. And let me take this moment to welcome each and every you once again and then to this organization of choice. No one was forced to sign a membership, you made a choice. But let me tell you, that was a right choice to choose us. And today, you'll realize that we are 12 years old. And then as we celebrate our 10th anniversary as an AGM. So we are how old? 12, but it is our 10th AGM. And also, we acknowledge that the Department of Justice that has agreed, without the department endorsing you, you are not going to be allowed to be an association. So by so saying, I welcome all, and then also I want us to take note of what are we having in our position. Most of them all, you have your booklet, and inside your booklet you will realize that there's a pledge form. There's a pledge form, that small card. So a pledge form is that you realize that there is a need for us to grow. There is a need for us to survive in this financial challenge, difficult times. So you will pledge any amount, but we will guide you as we come to that pledging stage. And then also you have a program. Please, I see most of you all, every time you leave the programs unattended too. The front is today, and then the back is for tomorrow. So we will not have another program being issued. And then also in your goodie bags, we have the Constitution, we have Directory of Justice Services, we have Inspiring Possibilities, as together we stand with the Department of Justice, and then also we have our GBV pamphlet that is there. And you'll know that gender-based violence is something that has taken another level in our civil justice. And I wish that by the time we leave here, all of us would have made sure that we support the program and we go around and spread the word and teach, if not advise the world or our neighbors as to what does it mean to be there. And then I would also like to say to you, if you move outside, there are stakeholders. We have Dit Nibot. I don't know if he's in here, SOS. And then we have also Susan from Protectum. I call her 24/7. She's also outside at her table. And then also the pilot of this program that we made sure that we go live, Rudolf Buddha Lamuse, welcome guys, and hope and trust that you do a good job. And then also acknowledge our Mr. Coutier that is outside for catering us and welcoming us yesterday by a nice dinner. And then most of them all, we have our own child that is growing. Our own child that made sure that SASS takes the new greater heights. Our own child that made sure that every time when he is given a task to do for SASS, he will always say, yes, I am available. But most of all, I want us to stand as we sing Happy Birthday to Alan Murugan. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alan. Happy birthday to you. From my side now, back to the program. We are done with number 1. And then as all you know that registration is open for voting. And then we have done also, we have our agenda that is also in the pack. And then we also have also the minutes that you will also go through. So this is everything that I'm talking about is in this pack that is here. So then at 10 o'clock, we will be having our Treasury's report, and then 10:30 we'll have our secretariat, and then 11 o'clock we'll be breaking for tea. So that is how we are going to navigate now. We are on time, and then please, when I raise my hand, that will mean that you have 5 minutes. The second time, you have 3 minutes. The third time is that your time is up. So this is how it is. Let me clear my table because there's a lot of things here. Thank you. Right. We have our index. That is the Constitution as amended in 2023. Those who were here last year, you'll know about it. And then also the draft minutes of our meeting and the financial report. This is last year's financial report. And also the draft budget that is being drawn by the TG. So I'm already on page 1 of the minutes. The minutes were distributed long ago, but I know it's always challenging when it's time to say, I adopt. So everybody, we will go, there's only 2 pages, back and forth. Right, any question? We will move now to Treasurer's report. Anyone who has a point on the TG's report for last year, not today. The today's report is still coming. Right, if consent, through your silence. Number 2, that is the Secretariat's report. Three, panel discussion. That is when topics were introduced and we discuss them as scheduled. And then if there is anything that you note, then make a note of it, then we will come back to it later on. Then we had a big one in Daba with Advocate Morgan. Then the last one was the training. So training, remember, ladies and gentlemen, remains our most important thing that we all take note that we will remain focused and it's our priority as we move on in this field of being a sheriff. So if there is no comment, also, sorry, I skipped the page. My apologies. So you didn't correct me. Page 2, I skipped, and page 3, I skipped. Sorry, my pages were just attached to one another. The provincial reports that were handed down. And then we also dealt with security, that was cyber fraud. And I think the cyber people, Susan is here, and also the IT specialist, Cool Web, they will be joining us. They just confirmed they're on the road. And then also we had our guest speaker from the Judge President of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Ms. Toba Poyo Dlwati. She spoke at length to ask, and I believe that everybody took note, and we realized the value of being a sheriff and the relationship between the courts and the sheriff. And then also we had our SODESTA report by Mr. Chi, and even today SODESTA will give us an update as to their position and organization as it is. And then also you had the presidential report by President Mangaba, where he spoke mostly on code of conduct. And then also there's when now the establishment of the road accident fund, relationship with the board, and etc. And then the rest we have dealt with. Can we now move and adopt the agenda? Sorry, the minutes of, yeah, the minutes adopted by Liu. And then any seconder? Adopt first. Any seconder? Okay, Ivan Swartz. I don't want to be racist. Come on, Mr. Swart. Okay, adopted. Thank you, gentlemen. And then let us go to questions. Any minute issues arising from these minutes. That's why I gave you ample time so that we go through, so that we can have minutes. Any matters arising from these minutes. Okay, for the first. Second, and the third time, I thank you all. So, the program, agenda. Right, we can now move to our agenda for the day. Anyone who has an item that if he or she feels that needs to be added to the agenda. We all have our agendas in front of us. Are we all set? Can we move? Anything, SG? Nothing. Can you adopt the agenda as is? Any proposer? Sis Tumi? Seconda? Tamitembe? Thank you. So which means that we cannot come and say, Mr. Chairperson, I forgot, but this issue is urgent, can you please attend to it? So what happens in such a situation, any urgent matter that you refer, it will be referred to management, and then management will deem it fit or proper for that matter to be attended today. If not, then they will give you a feedback by close of business of the day that this matter will be entertained at which level. So, as is, ladies and gentlemen, we are running smoothly. Allow me to introduce to you our treasurer, Mr. Tamitembe, for our financial reports.
Good morning, SASS members and SODESTA members in this 10th AGM for the South African Sheriff Society. I greet you all in this cold weather. For some of us who are Debonites, and yeah, when it is cold, we can't manage, but we will survive. Ladies and gentlemen, we prepared a report here, which is found in your packs for today. And if I could ask people to go to, I think it's item 3 on the divider there. That is where we're gonna find our financial report. And this is for the period commencing the 1st of March, 2023, up to the 29th of February 2024. There is an error there, it's written the 30th, but yeah, it's 29 February 2024. So these were the finances of the South African Sheriff Society, and as at 28 February 2023, our opening balance there was 521,942,021 cents, and then the income that was collected during that financial year was 351,766. And of that amount which was collected, these were the expenses, and those are ranging from item number 3 up to item number 10. So item number 3 obviously is the bank charges at 1,772 rands 15 cents. The licenses for emails, the Succeed group. Remember that we are still subscribing to Succeed, and members are still using the facility that is made available by Succeed. So we are still paying subscriptions to Succeed, and during this period, an amount of 71,976 rands 57 was paid to Succeed in respect of subscriptions. We hosted a national AGM last year in Durban, and the total expense for hosting that AGM was 262,140 rands 45 cents. And then there were also provincial meetings that were held, and the SASS National paid for the hiring of the venues in those provincial AGMs. And the total amount paid towards hosting provincial AGMs was 51,491 rands. There was also payment made towards Good Samaritan, and the total amount there was 27,000. Stationery and calendars were also paid for. And in this case, in this financial year, the calendars for 2023 and the calendars for 2024 were paid for, and the total amount then became about 43,610 rands. There was also travel assistance to members and also to Sodesta members, and the total amount for travel assistance that was paid during the financial year was 7,905 rands 23 cents. And then there was also payment made to 45 degree, which is 13,333 rands 38 cents. So the expenses for the financial year from March 2023 up to 29 February 2024 were 479,229 rands 38 cents. Now, also in that financial year, there was income which was mentioned there as item 2. So the income, if we explain it further, it is then down the line there under income, under explanatory notes. So most of the income that we got was, firstly, the first source was all right. Yeah, most of the income was obtained from SASS, which was about 584 rands 24 cents, and this is funds that are made when training is held, and we claim from SASS for providing training to our members and staff. So the other source of income for that financial year was membership fees. So members paid their subscriptions, and it amounted to about 110,300 rands. And we are also grateful that there were donations during that financial period, and the donations that we received as SASS was 181,497 rands 75. We further received a refund from the Garden Court, the Marine Parade, which is the venue where the 2023 AGM was held. So that refund was about 1,384 rands 60 cents. So that was the total income in the amount of about 351,766 rands 59 cents. When we go further down the explanatory notes, you will see that again there is mention of the bank charges, the licenses for Succeed Group, and in respect of the national AGM, the items there that were paid for are itemized. Like for the venue, the actual amount paid for the venue was about 198,740. But there was also additional things that when an AGM is hosted, that need to be paid for. And in respect of stationery, I think people will recall that they received certain items from JUTA. So there was an amount of 21,820.45 cents, which was paid towards those things. And then there was also decoration that had to be done in the venue, and the sitting plan there when we had to host the gala, and an amount of about 18,080 was paid for that. And then media, which was taking off the photos, and also the live streaming that had to take place because some of our members could not attend the AGM. So the cost for that was about 14,700. And then, there were flowers, which was about 1,300. And then we had to also pay for the bookkeeping, which was a service that was rendered to SASS, and that cost was about 7,500. That was a cost that helped us to be able to account to members on what has happened in respect of the finances of SASS. I did mention that when we go to the next page, if you turn to the next page, I did mention that we also pay for provincial AGMs. And in this regard, yes, the total amount is about 51,491 rands. But to be more precise, for the Gauteng province conference, there was 12,300 paid. And for the KZN AGM, it was 15,447 rands. And for, again, another Gauteng province AGM, an amount of 14,925 rands was paid. And for the Western Cape AGM, an amount of 8,819 rands, sorry, 8,819 rands, yes, was paid for hosting that AGM. And then to be more precise again, in respect of the Good Samaritan, the beneficiaries of the Good Samaritan were Sheriff Tofim Vaba at 10,000, Sheriff SW Nchokana at 12,000, and the AGM last year had made an undertaking to donate to a community area where they had been affected by the storm, alternatively a tornado that had just taken place before the 2023 AGM was hosted. And the Bambai Settlement Project, NPO, was identified as the recipient of that 5,000 rands. Yes, we did meet with them, and they were very grateful that SASS is reaching out to communities, and they've now started to learn about the sheriff industry, and they did indicate that they would wish to have more engagements with SASS, have more engagements with sheriffs, because that Bambai settlement is sort of an informal settlement where there is shacks, there is all sorts of diseases. So they do provide meals for those homeless children or children that live with other children and stuff like that. So it is something that would be good as an organization that every province where maybe we are at, we continue doing that. But I just wish to extend or convey the gratitude that they had when they were receiving this amount from SASS. So maybe another round of applause for that, guys. Okay. Going further down, so the stationery, as indicated, for the calendars, the total amount was 31,000. This was for 2023 and 2024 calendars. So it was 31,949 rand 60 cents. And for the goodie bags, you will note even today that you do have goodie bags. So the cost for those goodie bags was 11,661 rands, and that is why then the total is 43,610 rands 60 cents. Traveling, I think there were 2 Eastern Cape members that had requested to be assisted to travel to the 2023 AGM, and the ESCO then took a decision to support that after hearing all that was placed before it, and an amount of about 6,080 rands was expended to assist those members to attend the AGM. And Sodesta member, who was also going to attend the AGM and bring about a report, was assisted in amount of 1,825 rands. So again, this is trying to encourage SODESTA to be present, or at least their representative to be present in SASS meetings, and also give a report on the activities of SODESTA. Yeah, and the final item there is the 45-degree, where we had to pay initially an amount of about 11,771 rands 14 cents, and another amount of 1,562 rands 24. All these figures, ladies and gentlemen, they were taken to the auditors. We gave them our bank statements. Thank you, SG. Yes, we gave them bank statements. We gave them our capturing on a monthly basis on the activities in the bank account. And after they considered everything there, they did issue an audit report, and I've just received it right now from the SG, but they did indicate that they would be sending it through to us since they have finalized the audit. So in terms of the audit, which will also, copies will be shared with members, but in terms of the audit, all the expenditure that I have indicated here as the expenditure or expenses are equivalent to what is in the audit. The income as well is equivalent, and at the end of the day, they have found that the way we have accounted to members is the way that our books are looking like, or our account as SASS looks like. So that is the report, ladies and gentlemen. Are there any questions in respect of the finances of the organization? Silence means consent. Okay. Yes. Oh, thank you, Alan. Yes.
And considering shares moving away from the email branding at the moment, from what I see, the board's branding, is it still worth us paying 71,000 rand a year? Because you can see very fast shares are moving towards the board's branding now. I don't know whether it's for consideration by the new ExCo, but I feel 71,000 rands going to Succeed Group is not feasible for the organization if all the sheriffs are going to start using the board's branding. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Alan, for that. I suppose in that regard, I know that the reasoning behind using a Succeed Group at the time was obviously to promote SASS, but I think it is indeed something that ESCO maybe can take a decision on, or even this conference can take a decision on, if members feel that the use of a Succeed Group and that email branding has become obsolete, maybe by disuse, and then it means then we can take a decision here to give them notice that we are no longer going to be using their services. Maybe can I hear on the floor, but Alan has raised a good point in that regard. Yes, there's no more there.
Morning.
Yes.
I've picked up in the Eastern Cape that a lot of sheriffs are using emails at Gmail, at MWeb, at whatnot.
Sure.
Those emails are putting everyone at the risk of being hacked, because anyone can wake up tomorrow. If my email is nomondenyabaza@gmail.com, create a similar account, nomonde.nyabaza@gmail.com, and then they would be hacking my system and communicating with clients. So if we use the Succeed platform, everyone, it at least mitigates the risk of being hacked and other problems. But the sheriffs need to utilize it so that we can see value for money.
Okay, thank you, Sis Nomonde. So there's a different view on this aspect. I do not know whether at this juncture do we want to then take a resolution, or do members wish to maybe think about this and then thereafter, before we end our AGM, we revisit this aspect of the expense that goes towards Succeed Group, and whether it is something that will benefit us. Yes, Hanali.
Tommy, I think if the floor would like, we can get EXCO to engage with Succeed and investigate the possibilities and options available, because I believe that they should be able to get the Sheriff's branding incorporated with the SASS logo in a signature. If the floor wants EXCO to investigate something like that with Succeed Group, we can then, the EXCO can then present it to the management for approval at a later stage. That's just one option that can be considered.
Thank you, Hanali, for that suggestion. Georgina, did you have your hand up?
I want to get back to Ms. Nyabaza's Succeed Group. Is it actually dealing with the actual email address or the signature of the emails? It's, to me, I think we need to verify that, because my understanding was it's actually the signature. It wasn't actually the email address.
Yeah, from my knowledge, I think it is the signature, but yeah, I think Nomonde's point as well is something that we also have to look at as SASS members, because yeah, there's a lot of risk that is out there, and people hacking, I always delete these things that come through, and sometimes I even receive emails which are supposed to be coming from my email address. I do not know how people do that, but I just delete all of those things. But yeah, it is another point, but at this stage, I don't want to hold the meeting and delay everyone. I think there's a suggestion from Haneli that maybe let us ask the incoming ESCO to revisit this relationship with Succeed Group, and probably there will then be information that will be shared to members either via newsletter, alternatively through the SASS National Management meeting, so that then a decision can be taken as to whether we sever this relationship or we continue with it. I think also the Secretary General will also deal with this. Sis Nomonde, you wanted to say something further?
Yes.
Right.
The calendars, it's not value for money. We get over 10 calendars from attorneys. We have calendars on our phone, calendars on the laptop, calendars on the desktop. It does not make sense to spend thousands of money on calendars.
Thank you. Thank you for that. What do members feel about that? It's not value for money to spend. Yeah, I think it's approximately about 15,000 per annum to provide those calendars to members. So as I said here, 2023 and 2024 it was about 31,000 altogether. Yes, Mr. President. Mr. Max Mangaba.
Yes, thank you, TG. Branding, it's a sign of marketing. So calendars, not to say that you can keep it to yourself. You have this one big attorney that makes your office success. Donate those calendars to them. As much as Fansel Leroux and Herter will give me a calendar, so I can swap. So it's a gift day. So this is annually, it happens in December. The only thing we just have to say, make it on time. Then 1 or 2 of your best attorneys, you just send your deputy, please drop it off there. Because we also receive from them. So let's also promote SASS through those calendars. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other views on the aspect of calendars? Yes, Ausitumi.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think in support of what the President has said by promotional objective of the calendars, perhaps we can look at reducing the amount, the number of calendars that we are procuring, rather than getting rid of them altogether. Thank you.
Thank you. I think from here again, it would be my suggestion that the incoming ESCO then revisits the number, but it seems that there is still maybe a need for the calendars to be there to market the organization or the voluntary association, but probably what they need to revisit is the amount of calendars that are provided to members. Are we all happy with that? Yes. Thank you, thank you. And so we can move on. Any other questions on the financials? Yes, Ralph?
I won't keep you long. Just a question on the income. One of our income sources is donations. We were asked to make donations for the ongoing court case. It's not showing that. Does it form part of that, or will it show on the next financial statements?
Okay. Yes. That will be showing in the next financial statement, because the payment that will be made to the board in respect of that, it falls in this 2024-2025 financial year. So it is only then that one can then indicate that this is an expense that SASS had to incur. But the amount that was written there as 181 is all the amounts that had been received as donations up to 29 February 2024. So, but when then that expense is then paid off, it will show in the next financial statements that that is an expense that SASS had to pay for, and it was due to the donations that had been given by members.
Tommy? I don't know, maybe you answered my question, but under donations, I see for the last AGM, whenever we have an AGM, we've given this pledge card.
Yes.
I don't know whether we have to, under income, maybe separately have for pledges that we receive on an AGM. Because all of us take the cards and we put the amounts and we don't end up paying. So I think we need to be held accountable when we fill this, so you can show it on your...
Yes, I think probably it is something that whoever is going to be appointed as a treasurer, it is something that maybe they can take forward. But yes, there are different types of donations that come through to SASS, but in this report that we made, it was grouping all the donations that members held, but it is something that one can take under advice now, that within the donations part of it, there also be an indication of how much of those donations are just donations for the AGM, how much of those donations were pledges that members made, and then they honored their pledges, and probably it will also be assisting us to indicate to those members that have been sent invoices as a result of their pledges, to then remind them that they had made a pledge and they have not as yet honored their pledge to the organization. But it is something that can be taken under advice, and I think it will be maybe minuted that in the financials for the next AGM, there should be a demarcation of the donations as to what do they pertain to. Especially also in this regard, there's also donations that pertained to Good Samaritan. I know that also there were donations as well that pertain to the appeal that is being lodged at the Concord. But yeah, it is taken under advice. Thank you for that, Andy. Are there any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? I still have to also deal with the budget for the incoming year. Okay. So okay. Just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I've been alerted that I have 5 minutes, so let's then move on. So, if you are happy with the financials, can we then adopt them? Mover, Mr. Max Mangaba, seconder. Class Fokker, thank you. All right. So we will be signing these audits from the auditor at the end of the day. Now, can we move on to page 4, or item 4 on your PECs? Right. If we can run quickly through those. So when we look at that, the SASS budget for 2024-2025 financial year, the way I group them is that in the columns there's one for the actual for 2022-2023, which was last year, and then the actual for this financial year that we are reporting on, and then the budget for 2025-2026. So in respect of bank charges, in 2023, they were 1,930.40 cents, and then they decreased in 2023-2024 to 177. The license for emails, 2022-2023 was 58,905 rands 30 cents, and then it's increased to 71,976 57 cents. So hence the concern about whether we still have to have that relationship. But in the budget, one indicated that maybe we should budget for about 75,000 for that, and for bank charges we should budget about 2,000 for bank charges. National AGMs, 2022-2023 it was 208,629 rand 80 cents, and 2023-2024 it was 262,140 rands 45 cents, and the budget for 2025-2026 is about 300,000. Again, the prices for hiring venues, sometimes they increase, and also all the other items that go hand in hand with organizing an AGM. So a budget of 300,000 seems to be reasonable. And then provincial AGMs, 2022, 2023, there were 67,302 rands. And then this year, the amount dropped to about 51,491 rands. And yeah, in this regard, we thank members for at least reducing the cost of holding provincial AGMs, and we encourage members whenever they want to host provincial AGMs to look at the most reasonable a venue where they can hold an AGM, so that at least it leaves our coffers in a better state. So the budget for 2025-2026 is 70,000. And that seems to be reasonable for AGM. Women's Day event, 2022-2023. It was 10,000. It was paid in this financial year of 2023-2024. SASS did not pay out anything because the board entered the arena and financed the event. So we are thankful for that. However, it is still our initiative, and if it is still our initiative as SASS, we should budget for that. And one has also then indicated that the budget for the 2025-2026 financial year should be 10,000 rands once again. SASS calendars, right, yeah, for the 2022-2023, it was 16,394 rands 60. This year, it decreased a little bit to 15,555, and the budget is about 18,000. But obviously, SASS ESCO will now have to revisit this expense and reduce maybe the amount of calendars. Printing, 2022 was 1,416 rand 63, and in 2023-2024, 11,661, and the budget is about 12,000. This is for printing of training material, and cost of printers sometimes it can be expensive. Right, the Good Samaritan, 2022-23, it was nil. 2023-2024, it was 27,000, as also mentioned before, and the budget is about 30,000. Traveling, it was 4,373 in 2022-2023. And in 2023-2024, it was 7,905 rand 23 cents, and the budget is about 10,000 because it's for assisting of SODESTA and struggling members in traveling until they can stand on their own. So we should budget for that 10,000, but there will be obviously a criteria for someone to be able to get that traveling allowance. And then sundries are, expenses that do not come all the time. Like in this case, it was nil in 2022-2023, but in 2023-2024, there was this 45-degree, which was 13,333 rands 38 cents, and the budget is about 10,000 rands. So in total, the budget to be able to do things appropriately in the 2020. In fact, it should be 2024-2025 financial year. To be able to be able to do all of these things, we need to at least have about 537,000. So that is the proposed budget, ladies and gentlemen. In the second page, I think I also indicated, the sources of income, which was, again, in membership fees, there were 72 in 2021-2022, and then 72,000, and then in 2022-2023, they increased to about 92,800, and in 2023, sorry for the misprint there, 2023-2024, it's about 110,300, and we thank all the members, for committing to payment of their subscriptions, because this organization really survives on those. And then we had donations, 2021-2022, it's 52,163. 2022-2023, 170,000. 300. And in 2023, 2024, it was 181,497.75 cents. So there is an increase in that. SASSITA, 35,000 in 2021, 2022, and then 2022, 2023, it's 67,000. And in 2023, 2024, it was 58,000. We wish to really thank all the members for, digging deep into their pockets to make donations to the organization, and also to be paying their subscriptions to the organization. It helps to be able to pay for things. I think this venue, we are supposed to pay a certain amount of about 164,980 rands, and it will be settled. A deposit had already been paid, but we agreed that we will settle up after we have seen how many members turn up for the event. Again, we want to try and encourage that we continue having the training and make those claims from SASSITA so that it can increase our income. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, that is the proposed budget. Are there any questions on the budget? Going once, twice. Yes, Ivan.
To me, I want to make a suggestion. Is there any way that our membership fees can actually be increased? And I'm not talking about more members. I'm talking about increasing the fee that we pay. I don't think we're paying enough. I find it very surprising that our donations have to be a hell of a lot higher than our membership fees, which to me seems like a couple of very good sheriffs are donating more than what we are paying just to be a member.
Thank you for that suggestion, Ivan. I think that is how come we try and explain to members what is the status of the finances of the organization. And after Ivan has listened and looked at what our status of finances is like, it motivates him to put this idea on the floor. And I would wish for then members to maybe consider that. Should we then increase our subscription? And if we increase by our subscription, are we talking percentage, or are we talking a certain amount? Yes, Mr. Tao?
I say let's increase with 1,000 rand increment, because there's no organization that can function without any funds. So for us and to assist other small offices, so let's increase it to that amount.
Thank you, Mr. Dao. There's a proposal. Maybe if I'm not sure I'm hearing you well, Mr. Dao. I think currently it's about 650. So are we increasing it to 1,000 per member? Then there'll be additional amounts for deputies. Is that the proposal on the floor?
Actually, my office is paying 1,600. But we are paying 1,200 every month, every year. So if it's 600, then we can push it to 1,000. But I don't know how do we calculate ours.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Murugan and Mr. Khi, this side. Let's just hear from them, and then we will try and finalize this item. I'm sure my time is out now.
Sorry, Chair, we must be alive to the fact that we have members who wouldn't be able to afford a substantial increase in the membership fees. So let's not be blindsided by the fact that we want to increase our coffers. The formula that we always used in the organization is that the number of deputies you have will determine your subscription fees.
Yes.
So as we go higher in your number of deputies, we identify the wealthier officers. So I think we should stick to that formula. Then it gives the smaller officers an opportunity not to be overburdened. So let's be very careful as to how we increase our subscription fees. There is a formula that the organization always used. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Murugan. Mr. Gee, and you are noted, Ivan.
We'll mention it in our report, but as you know, it was approved by EXCO that Sodesta will also be paying membership fees from this year for the new financial year. So we will also be contributing to the organization.
Thank you. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Alan, sorry, on your point of officers that are too small, but now we've got deputy sheriffs contributing to us. I'm sorry. Guys, I'm running, I think, 2 of the smallest offices in the country. I'm not calling from a position of finance. When I say let's increase, I'm not talking about a big office in Gauteng, Cape Town, KwaZulu-Natal. I've got 2 of the smallest offices in my country. I've got I'm running 2 offices as an acting sheriff, and I'm running my office. My acting posts are double my normal office. And I do not count that money into what I would be paying to SASS. Let's revisit how we spend our money. We need to start looking at this. This organization does so much work behind the scenes for us. Marx works almost every day on the profession. He doesn't get paid for that. But we are complaining about 1,000 rand. Take 1 car, you get 6. Let's really look at what we are doing. We have had on our EXCO meetings people asking to buy them cars. Running officers, but they want us to help with a car. I've never asked for a single thing from any one of my colleagues. There's a problem in your office if you are asking for money. You need to revisit it. There are sheriffs out here that will help you look at your finances if you do not understand it, so that we can work together to better ourselves. And I'm not saying it so that Sanjay is battling and he can't ask for help. I just don't understand. How much are you paying, Hendrik, for your big office? How many deputies have you got? 1,200 rand a year. I don't even know what I'm paying, but it's minimal. I don't think that we can do this. Our EXCO works hard.
All right.
All right. Guys, let's look at where we are standing.
Thank you, Ivan. I think for purposes of time, this item, I will ask that it be referred to the national management so that all these views, because obviously as an organization, we don't want to chase people away because of the unreasonable amounts that they have to contribute towards subscriptions. But I think it is the view of the floor that we should increase our subscriptions. But I think probably if at national management level, there is a debate around this aspect, and then once national management has taken a decision, this decision will then have to be then communicated to members. But I think what we are all aware of and what we agree on is that we should increase our subscriptions. Thank you. Thank you. I think on my part, That will be it. We'll just have to sign the financials. I think it's going to be the chairperson, our president, Mr. Mangaba, and okay. Oh, thank you, SG. Right, yes. When we got to talk about subscriptions, one was calling for the approval of the budget of 500 and I think it was 537. Yes. Any mover for the yes, Frida? Frida is the mover. Seconder? Class. Thank you, class. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is my report. Today is the 7th, eh? We haven't.
Oh, maak sommer so. Ladies and gentlemen, all the sheriffs, do you have voting, you have ballot papers? All the sheriffs? Did you put your first white ballot paper in the ballot box yet? If you haven't done so, do it immediately. Don't you have one? Don't you have one? You must come to me.
Okay, what you have witnessed now is the adoption and acknowledgement of our financials. So which means one copy stays with SASS, one goes to the board as a regulatory body. So that shows that how our organization is ran. And then this is how, and then a round of applause to our TG for the good work. All right. Those that haven't registered or for voting, please, you are more than welcome to see Mr. Kutie there. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we will be proceeding now to our Secretariat's report. SG, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, colleagues. I see Free State weather is not deterring us. We're just alive as usual. Thank you very much for that. Okay, I'm going to present to you the Secretariat's report for the period June 2023 to this AGM. As it yesterday, let me put it this way. Okay. With regard to the EXCO meetings, we have been holding meetings on a bi-weekly basis since the last AGM, right up to the current one. However, the frequency of the meetings increased to weekly in preparation for this AGM. The national management meetings that were held were in July last year, just after the AGM, to make preparations for the year ahead, in October last year, and in March 2024. Furthermore, EXCO was represented at the provincial meetings in Gauteng, Eastern Cape, KZN, Mpumalanga, and Western Cape provincial AGMs. Okay, and this was per invitation by the provinces. So following the July 19, or at the July 19 national management meeting, EXCO's commitment to members were, or rather their target areas were, to continue to work collaboratively with all the stakeholders. What was identified with the Rules Board as a stakeholder was to apply for the annual tariff increase, follow up on fuel and follow up on the fuel tariff increase. Okay. And again, with the Rules Board, we intended to apply for exemption of a profession from compliance to certain legislation, i.e. the POPI Act. And now with the Banking Forum, our target was to send a proposal to the Banking Forum for the increase in the warrant of delivery fee and engage the Banking Forum with the sale of vehicles under suspensive conditions. Okay. One of the areas that we saw requiring attention was to ensure that training is given to deputy sheriffs and staff in collaboration with the SA Board for Sheriffs. We realized there was an urgent need to improve communication and feedback to members, okay, and also engage the provinces on the challenges they experience and their needs. We also targeted to finalize the proposed amendments on the Constitution, develop guidelines to implement special projects such as the Good Samaritan and the Adopt a Sheriff, because it's been just done ad hoc as and when without any proper guidelines. We saw it fit that guidelines are developed to implement those programs, and also to protect the professional integrity. Now I will now take you through the stakeholder engagement that EXCO has actually been involved in. SASS responded to the request for submission of comments on amendments to legislation from the Rules Board. And it is a period where I think almost on a monthly basis, the legal committee would actually attest to that, to the fact that there has been a request for submission of, of comments. And the legal committee has been very much hard at work on that one. In addition to complying and responding to the request by the Rules Board, we sent a request to the Rules Board as well, unsolicited, to just highlight the challenges that are being experienced with the implementation of the new rule on service on the domicilium, both on the Mesh Court and the High Court, and we'll be waiting for their response. Okay, and I think Mr. Maluleke also tabled that at the Rules Board. So this was not requested by the Rules Board. We felt, we have to be proactive and just send in that request for a review. SASS, and with regard to the Board for Sheriffs, our engagement continued through the forum, the consultative forum meetings. One meeting was held on the 26th of February 2024. However, there's been engagement by the SA Board for Sheriff's Chairperson with the chairpersons of the associations, wherein they hold regular meetings to discuss matters of interest and concern to the profession. So despite the fact that we only had one meeting, all was not lost, because we still had an audience by the board on matters that involve the profession. Some of the issues that had to be dealt with the SA Board for Sheriffs was the issue of the compulsory uniform for sheriffs. that almost became a very contentious one. So we were advised by the board that they're in the process of finalizing a policy on uniform that will be shared with the profession in due course. Okay, and again, we also informed that a service provider will be appointed to manufacture the uniform. The new branding of officers that has taken off in quite a number of officers. But then this is one process where it seems like, you know, the profession is content with implementing the new branding. Responses that are outstanding from the chairperson of the board that we posed to the board last year, at last year's AGM, and we had an endeavor with the chairperson of the board. However, not all questions could be responded to due to time constraints. We're hoping that today at 3 o'clock, the chairperson of the board will join us to deal with the outstanding questions that were not dealt with at last year's AGM. Okay. We requested the Board for Sheriffs to intervene on behalf of a profession. One with the CCMA with regard to the issuing of Rule 38 indemnity, okay? And the response from the board so far is they've had the initial meeting, a follow-up meeting will be held where other stakeholders or all stakeholders will be invited. We're waiting for that. Again, we had requested the board to intervene with SAP on behalf of a profession, just to ensure that we get the support that we require when we do evictions and other forms of execution, and they are handling that one. Okay. In terms of reference, we may have reported the challenges that we had with the board's terms of reference for the consultative forum meeting. Okay, the current status of this is that the board is in the process of finalizing this one. We requested the board to include other additional cost items to the deductions on Form 16. Now we've been requested to sort of give a proposal to the board as to how that should be done. And because of the extent of the work involved in doing that, this has been shelved to the next national management to look at. Okay. With regard to the Concord appeal, the board actually reported that they have identified a need to include the Minister of Justice and the Rules Board as a third and fourth respondents. We have also committed as SASS to support the process in every possible way that is feasible, just to make sure that this matter is, you know, is being heard and our contribution is noted. The status quo with the CCMA with regard to the issuing of Rule 38 indemnity has not changed. It remains the same. However, what we are getting reports from provinces that they are engaging with the local CCMA officers or the provincial CCMA officers. And I think that is where breakthroughs are made, because those that are engaging them directly are reporting success in terms of coming to terms and agreements that are favorable to both parties. And they are seeing their accounts being paid. They see the CCMA coming to the party as and when they need their assistance. Okay. The meeting of a banking forum. Again, we only had one meeting with the, excuse me. EXCO had one meeting with the banking forum. And during that meeting, quite a lot of issues were raised. or allegations or complaints by the banking forum. A report was presented, but then these issues keeps on surfacing, keeps on coming. One, allegations that we do not give invoices of towing vehicles with our terms of service. And that they say delays the payment of the accounts. So we are being requested, if you're using the tow truck, you use whatever, any other third party, please attach the invoice to your return of service. Okay? It's also alleged that sheriffs and deputies don't always come to the assistance of tracers after they've located the asset. Okay, and on this one, we explained to them why it's not always possible. If a sheriff or deputy is busy with an antenna pillar, you're not going to leave it and go run after a vehicle. Much as it is important that we attend to them and assist them ASAP. At times, the warrant is sitting with the tracer and has not reached the office. And there is an agreement that, please, one, have a warrant in your office, okay, or with a deputy. Two, get an instruction letter. Because in Eastern Cape, they are sitting with challenges where they are not paid because attorneys claim they didn't give an instruction. Have an instruction letter with the warrant. And again, have a release letter. Don't just release the vehicle. Make sure there are processes in place where you get your release letter, where they instruct you that release this vehicle to so and so and so and so. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now the issue of a deposit or upfront payment, it remains a contentious one with the banks because they allege that while they are waiting for the deposits to be processed, to be paid to the sheriff's or to the sheriff's office and the payment to reflect in the account, they have lost the asset. But we also explained that the reason why sheriffs end up doing that is not the first price, but that is something that will happen when the account status is, the account is long overdue, there's problems of non-payment from the same mandator. That's when sheriffs actually opt for that. So it was recommended that engage with the representatives of the banks, as and when you have challenges, just to ensure that they are ironed out as quickly as possible. If there are challenges, we deal with them and get them out of the way quicker. Colleagues, this one is not a pleasant one. It's alleged that we, or our deputies, failed to execute against our friends and relatives. It's also alleged that we do not follow instructions that are given on the instruction letter, okay? They tell you that, if it's a non-runner or this is happening, please do not deliver the vehicle. And we ignore, and then we keep it in our storage, and it just incurs a lot of costs, and then they refuse to pay the account because we fail to follow their instructions. Okay, the other one is delays in service. It's alleged that we delay for about 5 to 10 days before we execute a warrant of delivery. So, colleagues, I'm not saying yes, it's true or not, but all I'm saying is let's be mindful of these allegations. Okay. It's also alleged that we are not charging the agreed upon fee. There is an agreement with the banking forum to charge a certain fee, okay? please let us stick to that. However, there are certain instances where additional fees will be incurred, especially the agency fee. Though they've said that this fee we are agreeing upon on provision that you're not going to charge the agency fee. But in instances where one has to go after hours and go on weekends to look for that vehicle and deliver it, that is something else. But the important thing is let us motivate, okay? It is noted that Marilo Bester is still not part of our agreement with the banking forum, okay? And so sheriffs are encouraged to sort of deal with Marilo Bester or those attorneys that are not part of a banking forum directly, just to ensure that you get your payments and you have terms that are workable for both parties, okay? So colleagues, we initially, I think as at last year, there was a principal agreement that in the beginning of the year, we will meet with the banking forum. That is a voluntary associations, and discuss the fee increase. And it was at that time indicated that we could be looking at an annual fee increase. It hasn't happened this year. We haven't had a meeting with the banking forum. However, we have submitted as a proposal for the fee increase for 2024. So we'll wait for them to sort of convene a meeting where we can meet and discuss our proposal that has been sent. Okay. At this point, and with regard to DOJ, colleagues, we're not making a breakthrough with the DOJ, and the issues that would have been addressed directly to the department, we address them through the Board for Sheriffs, through correspondence in letters, meetings that are held, the chairperson, our president, meeting with the chairperson of the board. Those meetings, we just sort of table all these issues and trust that they will be the go-to guys in the process while the DOJ is available to meet with us. Or rather, when they are still unavailable to meet with us. Okay. And now I'd like to just talk about the challenges and the achievements that are worth celebrating. The birthday celebration of SASS. Today we are celebrating the 10th AGM of SASS and 12 years in existence. And this is a momentous and memorable milestone for SASS. And what it is about, it's about the journey from SASS conception to date. Where are we? How have we performed over the years? What challenges did we have to overcome? Because challenges are guaranteed we will have, but we'll have to have a way to celebrate. Yes, and as we share the beautiful memories today, we're also instilling a sense of pride to our new members and SODESTA members as we project. We have successfully adopted and piloted the working committees. There are a number of working committees. The legal committee, cost committee, training committee, events planning, communication, social benefit, elections, fundraising. Now, these committees are not for EXCO to run. Colleagues, there is enough work within SASS for everybody to raise their hands and get involved. And I can actually with the confidence say, if it was not the collaboration within the working committees, would not have been able to pull together and offer the AGM of this nature today. It's the first of its kind, and you will see, I'll just keep you in suspense, and you'll understand why I'm saying this. But please, we're urging you, this is not for EXCO to run, but this is for all of us sitting here to make sure that we are able to fulfill our constitutional mandate. Okay, one other area where there was a gap was in the provincial reporting. What used to happen in the past, one province will say a two-liner, one would say two full pages, giving reports, and everybody just reporting on what they thought needs to be reported on. We have developed the guidelines that we have piloted now with the provincial reports, and it's working beautifully. All that needs to be done is we continue doing this, we are consistent, and we keep on improving. And as and when there are areas that needs to be included and, or items that needs to be included in the report. We continue to communicate with our members. We may not be 100%, but there is a concerted effort to improve communication. And that's mainly via email, newsletter, WhatsApp, and DD notification. The one thing that is apparent is some members don't open the communication. They don't read, they don't respond. And we're pleading with you to please work with us. It doesn't always help to point a finger and say, yeah, we didn't get information, or management didn't communicate. But when you don't do our part, it takes two to tango. Please respond to communication. Take time. Read these emails, the WhatsApp and stuff. Very, very informative and valuable. Okay, another area of celebration is participation in GBV agenda. SASS has actually moved to a point where we're participating in the National Strategic Plan, Pillar 3 of GBV. SASS programs are still unfolding. And again, these programs require us as they unfold because we need to shape them in a manner that is suitable for us and the way we would like to see them. Now, SASS will continue to identify shelters for victims and offer assistance, okay? Disseminate information towards victim empowerment. Please let us all be part of this beautiful milestone. And we will continue to celebrate the Women's Day event in collaboration with the SA Board for Sheriffs. As the programs unfold, we so wish that we could start also, you know, in a small way, reach out on Women's Day to the organizations that actually require our assistance. I've mentioned in the challenges that we have, we are not willing, we have an apathy to serve. But we're asking you again, serve on the committees. It is your committees, it is your organization. Make it work the way you want to see it unfold. Non-participation by members to communication, I've said that. We still are battling, some sheriffs are still battling with encroachment into other service areas. And this is one area where, as SASS, there isn't much we can do except to forward it to the board. The board has been made aware of the challenges that has been brought to us, to our attention, and they are dealing with that one. They are not? They are doing nothing. Okay, we'll note that, and we will, 3 o'clock, remember? No? Okay, thank you. Now, another issue that we had to contend with is dual representation I'm hoping I'm capturing correctly. Dual representation at the provincial and national leadership. I'll explain. What happens is that you have members of the provincial leadership, provincial chairs, who are also serving on the national exco. Now, what happens in that case, the province suffers, attention goes to the nation. So we had to sort of prepare this matter to the legal committee to just give us guidance as to how this should be dealt with. Okay? And the recommendation has been, if you are, like for instance, EXCO members are elected for the national office, those members must step aside from the provincial structures to serve solely and wholly in the national office. Okay. I'm not sure if this sitting can take a resolution on that. This was just a recommendation from the legal committee. The lessons learned. There are a lot of lessons, but in the interest of time, I'll just touch on this. We need everybody wholly committed and wholly committed on board to fulfill SASS constitutional mandate. We have learned valuable lessons about, the dual membership, and that hasn't served us. Now, we have seen this, and I'm saying it again, during this AGM, how that helped to have everybody from different angles, the events planning committee, training committee, fundraising, all working together to making this event work. So it's not speculation, it works. So members, let's all come together. Let's all work together and continue to make SASS the organization of choice. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions on the Secretariat's report? Dateta. Can you have a mic, please?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Secretary. My question is about the dual membership. I know we are living in a democratic country. Each and every person has the right to choose or to do whatever he or she can do in terms of the Constitution of South Africa. But to be a member of SASS and be a member of other organizations, for me, that's me. I don't say we have to take it like that. This is very dangerous because, as Secretary, we have already stated that we have learned lessons. People come into the organization, study everything, take all the information and give it out to people who want to destroy the organization. So my belief is that if I belong to SASS, I must belong to SASS. I must do everything to SASS. I cannot work for God and Satan at the same time. It's either I'm going to work for the devil or I'm going to work for God. So I don't know. As you say, it's up to the members. We are in a democratic country. It's up to the members to decide. But it doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
Dual membership. Thank you.
Thanks, Tatita. That's noted. So let's differentiate in Tatita. Dual membership, belonging to one SASS and another voluntary organization. That's what you're talking about, no? And there's also dual representation at leadership level, province and national, okay? So what we're dealing with is the second one. The dual membership was dealt with at the last AGM, 2023 in Durban. A resolution was taken to inform members that, you know, that's not allowed. It's exactly to capture the sentiments that you are raising, and that was sent to members. Unless if you want us to resend it to members. But yes, maybe we will resend it to members if that is a request, but it's clearly stipulated that that is not. The mic, please.
I say you'll forgive me because in the last AGM I was not in the AGM. So some of the things that you have already gone through, just forgive me for that.
No, that is fine.
Right.
That maybe it's good to keep on reminding members and reminding ourselves of that position. Any other question?
Thank you, SG. I think on this same point of dual membership, where a resolution was taken, to amplify the feedback on the lessons learned. I think it must be acknowledged that members responded. Members responded, and some of us may observe less participation of our members in some of these structures, and we need to commend our members for that and encourage them really to uphold that resolution as it were. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam, do you have any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, in the absence of questions, in the absence of further questions, shall we move to adoption? Anyone would like to move for adoption? Ralph and wait. This report, Ralph and Martin. Okay.
Do we welcome the report? Thank you.
5 minutes for this one. 5 minutes for the provincial report. Quickly. Yeah, I need to sort out this one. Oh. Yeah. 5 minutes, please. This will take 5 minutes. It's a provincial report. Okay? The report that I'm going to present to you is based on the information or the reports that we received from the provinces. We received from all provinces except for Limpopo. Limpopo didn't actually participate in this report. Firstly, we would like to just report that all provinces had the elections, except for Limpopo, I think. Yes, except for Limpopo. The challenge is largely contributed by non-participation and apparent apathy to attend meetings. They've not been able to form a quorum. They've not been able to come together. It is a challenge at other provinces as well, and it's something that we really need to find a way to deal with, okay? So, colleagues, please join me in congratulating the following people who have been, and I'll just, in the interest of time, mention the chairpersons per province who have been newly elected. Free State is Mr. Puka, Northwest, Mr. Tau, Western Cape, Mr. Ngumza. KZN, Mr. Tembe. Gauteng, Mr. Adimulam. Eastern Cape, Ms. Nyabaza. Mpumalanga, Mr. Aker. While on the elections of new office bearers, we also would like to congratulate the new SODESTA national leadership. Okay? SODESTA? Okay, thank you. The chairperson is Mr. Derek Esso. Is Derek here? Thank you, sir. Thank you. The deputy chair, Strini, is he here? Is Strini here? Coming here later. Secretary, Mrs. Fuka. Mrs. Fuka, we don't see you. We want to see you properly. Thank you and congratulations. Okay, in terms of membership, we are sitting with 123 members according to the reports just received or recently received from the provinces, excluding Limpopo. We've got a total of 123 members, and you would also appreciate the fact or realize the fact that there are a lot of vacant offices where there are acting appointments. So that has, or what that will affect our numbers temporarily. We would think there's a decline when other members have actually exited the system through various ways. So you, like Ivan was saying, he's in 3 offices. You can't count that as 3, but as one, it's one person, unless there is wisdom to the contrary. So we are sitting with 123, excluding Limpopo, as it is now. So provinces, some provinces were very successful in hosting meetings, provincial meetings. KZN, for instance, top of the list, formed 8 meetings in total for this period. They had 4 physical meetings and 4 virtual, okay? Mpumalanga had 5 physical meetings, Gauteng 3 physical, Northwest had 1 virtual, Western Cape 1, Eastern Cape 1, Free State 2, and 0 for Limpopo. I did confirm with them that they didn't have meetings. Okay. Keep up the good work, provinces. Okay. I'm not going to divide this by province, but then the stakeholder engagement that the provinces were able to embark on. Gauteng, the Banking Forum, the JAA, and I'll just make a bit of a note on the JAA. The Johannesburg Attorneys Association would like to, I wouldn't say it's a partnership, but collaborate, not even collaborate, but work closely with sheriffs. The reason being, they don't always want to go to the board for each and every little problem. No? They want to be able to have a formation where they can talk to the sheriffs and iron out issues and give a sheriff an opportunity to, to deal with whatever concerns they raise before they can even go to the board, so that the board becomes the last resort. It's got its own intricacies and stuff like that. It will be ironed out as time goes on. But the thinking is, if it can be piloted in Gauteng, then it can be taken out to other provinces. Okay. There was also engagement with local calls by the provinces and the security cluster, the CCMA with the protector, and yeah, mostly, and the state attorney as well. Now, the focus of the stakeholder engagement meetings. I'm going to isolate this one in KZN because it is quite extensive and it will apply to all provinces, okay? One is a relationship with the SA Board for Sheriffs and associations, the online auctions. I think there is a bit of clarity now in terms of the online auctions for the match court jurisdiction, okay? And the feedback on the rules board on certain rules amendments. The challenges with Rule 46A and 46A 9D reports. There is no uniformity in terms of how they are done throughout provinces, but again, there is a long way to get feedback from the courts. Okay. Some repetition of what I have already said. Now, the national management continues to urge members to support SODESTA, ensure that they're able to have meetings. Of course, we don't want to compromise work. It is very important, but make sure that without compromising work, we can support them in every way we can so that they can also grow and become independent. In terms of member training, there was training that was offered by the Board for Sheriffs, the bookkeeping, compulsory bookkeeping, should I say. Sheriff's introductory course was offered, and there was also a workshop on coaching and mentorship. Those are the sessions that the training initiatives that were offered by the board. But again, within SASS, Mr. DeVet gave training on the attachment of bank accounts, Mpumalanga specifically on POPI Act, and the impact on sheriffs, and Trespassing Act. Okay, this I have to say and isolate one province, Mpumalanga, that has ongoing liaison with the CCMA. They are now reporting improved sort of a relationship with the CCMA and SAPS, and again, improved payment of sheriff's accounts by the CCMA. So it does help to use the provincial stakeholders, engage with them, and not just, you know, punch holes on what's not working without taking a proactive action. Okay. I think I'm going to leave out the others, because it's going to be a bit of a repetition from the national report. And that ends the provincial report. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Are there any questions? Say, Mr. Tembe here. Here. Thank you.
Thank you. In respect of the KZN report, I just wanted to maybe clarify that the new leadership, the provincial chair is Miranda Gallant.
Oh, I've got it as you, sir.
Yeah, it's Miranda Gallant.
Correct that one?
Yes. And our secretary is Mankwe Mahlangu, and our treasurer is Tandega Klope.
Okay, I'll take those details thereafter because I've got Miranda as from the report as a treasurer, and Mankwe I don't have at all. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Any other question? Correction? Clarification? Thank you very much.
A round of applause to the CEO. Most of us do not understand or do not know. The Secretary General is actually the CEO. She's the functioning person. She's the one that tells me, Max, you have to take a flight and go to Cape Town. Max, do this. So, SG, thank you so much. The report was so, what can I say, was a well-fed tea time. So, according to my chronometer, our tea time is actually over. But I know we have smokers, although I don't believe in smoking. Already one is standing there showing me. So can we take a 10 minutes break, have your coffee, come in again so that we can catch up with our time. We've lost 30 minutes so that we can recover. Thank you. Once more, good morning. As we are about now to go to the second leg of our program, trust that everybody had enjoyed the tea. And we will have a quick change on our program. Mr. Martin Ackerman will come quickly. Oh, Mr. Martin Ackers. Oh, sorry, the English Martin. Okay, he'll come forward and then have a quick chat with us. Thereafter, we will have now our IEC, Independent Electoral Commissioner, but we have an officer here. Already, these are the names that have been nominated. So he will guide us as to how do we complete the acknowledgement by Deputy President. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Acker is going to guide us through and promote his program for the day.
Kan ik hem daar inzetten? Thanks, Box. Guys, good morning. Just a quick one, please. Just in the order for making arrangements for this evening. As is customary, like we usually do, we'll have auctions this evening. We always have auctions like we do every year when we meet. We'll have a donkey derby as well. I don't know, those of you that's been to these AGMs in the past, you know what a donkey derby is. We'll have 4 horses or 4 donkeys in a race, and they will run into 12 blocks of 1 meter by 1 meter. And we'll have a polystyrene dice, and if you roll the dice, depending on what number it falls on, you'll advance those paces that's written on the dice. You'll be able to place your bets. You'll be able to pay and buy one of the donkeys. You can choose your own jockey. We've got quite substantial prizes with regard to the donkey derby, sponsored by Johan Kutzer Brokers and Protectum. They're sponsoring Justine Hampers Unisex, as well as 3 laptops as well as prizes. Then what we also will have, we'll have a live livestock auction this evening. We'll be auctioning 5 sheep. They'll be in pens that will be erected here this afternoon, and they'll be in the pens for you to view, and you can place your bets and you can bet on them and actually bid on them as well. They'll be auctioned by a guest auctioneer by Fees Central. We've allowed them the opportunity to book their flyers here, to do some marketing as well. For those of you that attach livestock in your areas that don't know or usually don't know what to do with them, you can always approach these guys to do the marketing for you guys, to do the removal, everything that's concerned with the removal of livestock. I'm in the privileged position, I am the pound master, so usually animals come into the pound and then I auction those animals. So whenever we need to attach things on farms like livestock, I'm in a position to attach the livestock. I know in the past people have been leaving these things behind, not knowing where to take them. Well, with Fees Central doing the marketing for us tonight, that'll be wonderful. You can also liaise with them with all your needs as you need for sheriffs, how to go about it, what rules to comply with, and also all the police regulations for transporting the animals. That's with regard to that. Also, we'll be having on the auctions as well, I think there's 5 bottles of wine. There are 5 14-karat gold-plated pens with leather wraparounds as well. We'll have hand gavels, you know, those auctioneering hammertjies gavels. We've got about 17 of those. And then we've got your normal hand gavels. You know what those look like? The shorter hand gavels you take on your hand and you knock something down, you auction here on a table or in a bar or wherever, just a hand gavel, call them hand gavels. So it doesn't look like a hammer. Some of you bought in the past. You will have them also on display later this afternoon for you to have a look at. Those of you who were not able to purchase the badges for the sheriff badges, there are still another 80 on order, and as soon as they become available, we will keep you guys posted. But as for the auction tonight, you are very welcome to participate. What's wrong? Sorry, thanks, Marks. We got these two framed pictures here. That's also going to be on auction this evening. There are only two that Marks brought last night. These two will be on auction as well. So these will be taking place around about, let's call it 8:30, 9 o'clock. We'll only have, Pietro, where are you? We'll only have an hour and a half. An hour and a half. So what we'll do, we'll do the sheep auction. We'll just run quickly through it, take about 15 minutes. We'll do the donkey derby. We'll do the 3 races. That'll take about another 20 minutes. But we expect a lot of participation from the members. It's usually quite a hit. So we've got an hour and a half to participate and to finish up all these auctions. So I'm just sensitizing and just warning everybody in advance, please come prepared. We'll have an EFT, what do you call these machines, like a Yoka or a Speed Point, whatever. We'll have those as well. And Mr. Ivan, you wanted to say what? Ivan will be the enforcer to collect the money for the auctions. And Susan will be with the donkey derby. And myself and Ralph and Siabonga Ngomalu from Mpumalanga will be dealing and helping with the auctions tonight. That cloak fell on us to do the auction part of things. But anyway, thank you for your participation in advance. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Well, it looks like today we have to celebrate more than the word celebrate. In the house again, we have Patricia de Souza. That is her birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pat. Happy birthday to you. As we promote, this is my passion. This is my passion. SASS, we always have a good Samaritan. This is what we are known of in terms of assistance, in terms of support structure. And we also have Adopt a Sheriff program. And I believe tonight we have 3 laptops. Unfortunately, they are not for adoption, but I will definitely get one. They are. Shout it out. Yes, sure.
So what we're doing is the winning race, the winning owner of the horse, when they receive their gift, and if they decide that they are rigged in their office and they don't need an additional laptop, what they can do is they can then put it in for Adopt a Sheriff.
Oh, well, a round of applause for that. And then you will also remember that we have donations. Donations is that, you know, for whatever purpose, whatever reason that you may be encountering, a support structure financially, that is what we always do. That is what we always opt to support one another and live. And that is what SASS is also known for. So this pledge form is right in your position as we speak. Just donate. It doesn't matter. But, however, when you donate, think of Ivan, who said, what is the value of a rand? I'm not going to say this is our threshold or this is what, but think of a value of a rand. So that when the person that you'll be donating to, with this donation will make a change to his or her life or position at the moment. Right, as now, Fred, are you coming through? You after Fred. I don't know what is Mama Bolo in English.
Sai.
Ek hoop ek doen 'n beter job as hy. As hy nee, hy's fine, dankie. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, you know me by now. You see me every second year. It's the last time you're going to see me. I ask Pietro not to phone me again. No, it's fine. Yes, we are now, we have, you have spoken and we've elected the 4 national members that will form EXCO and from which we will vote for a president and later the last event I think is for the secretary. So there's the names on the board. We have Andy Mulem, Anlie Erasmus, Marx Mangaba, and Tabi Tembe. And congratulations to you. All right, so what you have to do now, when you entered, sorry, now I can put my glasses on, otherwise I can't see you. When you entered, you've been given 2 ballot papers, the pink one and the yellow one. Then that should be the only ones left. If you still have a white one, then you didn't listen. All right, so what we do now, you take the pink one, right? And it says election of president. And there says president. So write the name or out of that 4 names, write the name that you want to be your next president. And then we'll come around and we will collect the ballot papers. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to do that quickly. And Ivan, thank you. You will help me that side. Any questions? You fine? Good. Yeah, he's in jail. Tell me when you're ready. I'll come around quickly. Are you all done? Thank you. I'll start that way. That's all.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ralph Gee. I'm the outgoing Deputy Chair of SODESTA. And it's my privilege to give our report for the year 2023 to 2024. We currently have 212 members, of which most are active on our provincial WhatsApp groups. Our achievement list is quite long because we've covered a long period of time during COVID as well. Our members were invited to sit on discussion panels at the board's function in 2023. We are successfully representing our members at the consultative forum that consists out of the department, the board, and all other voluntary organizations. In Gauteng, we've assisted and established a working committee with the Joburg Attorneys Association, and I encourage you to do the same in your provinces. We meet quarterly and discuss day-to-day operational issues. It's actually very nice to see what the attorneys think of us as deputies, because you're the face of the profession on the ground. If you've got a bad reputation, it shows there, and we are trying to polish that. For the first time this year, a membership fee will be introduced for our members. As you've seen, we are an expense on the SASS books. We don't want to be an expense on the SASS books. We want to provide for ourselves. We've been brought up well. Provincial and national elections were done electronically. Our new leadership, you've seen them. I thought that they might be introduced a bit later on, but they've been introduced already. Congratulations to you guys. Please give them your support. And by giving them your support, I'm asking the sheriffs as well. Please support these guys. They are the face of your office. If you look after them, you look after yourself and you look after the profession. Then part of our achievements is recruitment. We've assisted several sheriff's offices with recruitment of deputies and office staff members, some of them even moving province. If you've got a vacancy, let us know. We put it on our groups. They know somebody who knows somebody, and you'll get somebody to work in your office. We've got good people. There's a big pool of people who's looking for work and who's got the experience. So we invite the sheriffs to contact us with all those vacancies. Some of our members, and this is one of our biggest achievements, some of our members have been appointed as sheriffs. Yes? And acting sheriffs over the country, and for which we are very grateful. We will not disappoint SASS. We will carry the name forward. As outgoing management of SODESTA, I would like to thank SASS for the platform and the opportunity that was created, the support and encouragement over the years. A special mention must go to Mr. Mangaba, our president, and Gamotso, Mpatlele, Andy Ademolam, and Tami Tembe, who was always available, even after hours when we had to consult or we needed some encouragement. Thank you very much.
You see, when a child is born, it's always a baby, so you don't expect anything big from the child. They'll always be short, they'll crawl, they'll fall and wake up. But as a dad, I'll always keep on saying, stand up, walk, and be strong. Just in addition to that, your mandate to EXCO in terms of your bank account, that has also been attended. So it is going to be tabled to you very soon. So as a result thereof, you are also one step ahead. They will be having their own bank account, but what is going to happen is that SASS mother body will be in charge of that bank account. So they will have a sub-account under SASS. So meaning that when they change leadership, nobody does what people do, cash up and leave. You just pick up your pen and paper bag and you leave office. Whoever comes in, then we do a professional handover. So that was one of the things that we said. As parents, we will make sure that that happens. And then as now, we are moving now to another level. That is now my report. So I don't know if Deputy President, did you wanted to do yours first? Must I proceed with the report? Okay. I was laughing as one of my colleagues, Nomonde, said, you know, Eastern Cape Sheriffs uses the Gmail address for their emails. Then something came to mind that over the week, my neighbor came and said, hey, Max, my son wants to know what is the difference between an email and a Gmail. Then I said, buddy, that is a very difficult question. Can you repeat that? He says, no. My son wants to know what is the difference between an email and a Gmail. Then Max, as you know him, I had to go around and have a quick think, and I said, no, man. An email is when you don't have load shedding, then you can send your message. But when you use a generator, then you have a Gmail. So on that note, don't blame the Eastern Sheriff colleagues when they use a Gmail, because they use generators. Right. My Deputy President, as an outgoing EXCO, it is sad after 2 years to have spent time with people, and then a day like this comes. But as it is, I still have to be strong and acknowledge the protocol and say to my executive, thank you so much that we have been going through. The additional members, so Desta also, let me take this moment to acknowledge you. But still, this is not enough. As general membership of SASS, you have kept us going, you have kept us on our toes. And then what I've also noticed that, you know, we have so many celebrations in this country. 30 years of democracy, 10 years of SASS as an organization, birthdays that Ellen has missed now, the 3rd birthday to be with us as an organization of choice. So your choices, Alan, I know they were the right choices. Your presence to choose us over your family, I also take to note that you are a true SASS member. And then also, I trust that we have a business program for you. But this is not meant for us to come and show off. But as an organization, I hope that you do not miss anything out of this program. So what I wish that is that the knowledge that you will be gathering from this afternoon and tomorrow's dialogue, you benefit a lot. One of the things that I've also noted as my host, Ms. Petro, is that today also, I think we mark a 5-year journey of the Women's League, as I always name it. When the woman came and then said to me, can you give us money? I was a treasurer at that stage. She says to me. And then it was such a difficult situation for me to approve. And it was such a little money. I think they needed less than 5,000 rands. But, it has came handy. It has proven. Today, the very same women that I'm talking about, they drive an agenda in terms of GBV. That is the most important thing that is going on in the country. And also, our deputies. I remember it was 1 year that myself and Alan had to sit at the beach whilst people were enjoying festive season. We were working hard in ensuring that Sodesta gets recognized. And for that, I would like to applaud them for their good behavior, because that was every sheriff's concern, that are these people that you are bringing on board, Max, going to behave? Then I said, yes, I can vouch for them. And then, yes, today we are reaping the benefits of that. We can see that in a long range that how much did you achieve. And also not forgetting that today we come into a very, very serious situation where now at a later stage we'll be coming across this juncture where now new leadership has to be appointed. So not only that, the election but also we're looking at something that we wanted to achieve. Is Fred here? The digital life in terms of digital voting. I will not miss this opportunity that we have walked along a path where now something that was great, that was supposed to have been put to place this morning, but we realized that a lot of gap has been done. If you see maybe a lot of our members not being here is because of some thought they will be sitting at their comfort zone where they will be casting their vote electronically. So, but this is the future, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues. Sooner or later, you will be implementing that from your provinces, and then it's a pilot project where we will see that is it worth it to have this digital voting, electronical voting, if I may say it. Yes, Sodesta has done it, but they've done it in a different form. They were all online, and then they had their own thing. So one can say that, you know, this is something that we learned out of COVID and load shedding, that we needed to move into a safer space where we cannot blame load shedding to say we can't meet, we can't do this. But COVID-19 also opened doors and minds for us to make a little bit of change there and there. I can tell you TG is happy because of he saved out of 4 meetings that we normally held, quarterly meetings from our management, we only went virtual. So there was nothing spent on that. He didn't mention it, that how much did he save? So this virtual life, digital life is also helping. And the online training that we will be introducing, Mr. Adumilam is preparing a booklet and everything that nobody has to leave their offices on comfort zone to come there and attend training. So also, my colleagues, we know that this term has always been, we had terms before, but this was the most bumpy road one. We had a lot of challenges, and like any other, you know, institution, there must be a way that you have to overcome those negative thoughts that people will have or perceptions. But your critics helped us, moved us to another level. So as SASS, we also look at that to say, but what is our mission and vision? We always have these missions and visions that will be our guidelines. So we will always promise to keep into that line to say, you know, we won't divert or create anything out of our own. So the current administration strive to serve and lead and uphold the esteem of this profession and organization by building a better working relationship with around the world, country, those stakeholders that we have. Legal aid today, most of you people can confirm that the accounts are being paid and they are keeping us on our toes. The banking forum that is working so hard to ensure that they listen to us and ensuring that their work is also, we meet them halfway. And then also we have the civil justice wheel, the courts. Your returns makes a difference. If your return is poor, there's no judgment that will be effective. So whatever judgment that is being handed down at the courts, you must know that this is a judgment because of my contribution as a deputy sheriff or as a sheriff. You'll realize also now they depend on us in terms of fixed properties. Why was this property not sold? They want to know the reasons from the sheriff. Obviously, it's a very dangerous area. The property is dilapidated. There are no schools around there. It's a new area and so on. The judges take that information that you provide on your return very serious, and they look into that, including the rules board. Unfortunately, Mr. Maluleka is not with us today, but he tendered an apology. He has done such a great job on our behalf as sheriffs. Previously, you know, the rules board would just decide on our fate. But today, we have a voice. And it's been now the second term that our voice is really heard, although I know Rule 4 and Rule 9 is a question that needs to be addressed. And then we did acknowledge the receipt, and then we did send in our comments. And then when it came out, we did send in again with our legal team to say, but the rules board, when you made this decision, you made it so vague for us. We do not know where to go, whether it's a T-junction where you must turn left or right. But surely we will have a guideline on that one. They will respond. And also, ladies and gentlemen, moving another level also is that please be on the lookout. Some of these tenders that have been given is our job. One of it is the collection of traffic fines. We need to fill into that space. So whatever information that you bring to us, the UIF, Mr. Adimulam brought that information. We wrote to them. That tender didn't go on there. It was just stopped because it is our field. It's our space. We qualify to do arrest. We qualify to serve. We qualify to give a report to court to say, but Pete was served with the notice of his infringement, but he didn't comply. So the court has a right to give a judgment on that. But now the council, then they give it out as a tender. So with the new administration that might be coming through and a government of coalition, maybe something positive will be drawn into this thing to say, let us look into what exactly the traffic fines collection can go through to sheriffs and see if it can work. So there's also been on that one discussion with the South African Board for Sheriffs, and then they fully agree and support us. The uniform issue, we won't touch it, but however, it was never tried and tested. What I'm trying to say is that you have sent your comments in terms of uniform, that it will put you in your lives in danger. But we have never tried and tested that. So let us look into things that we can come back and say, this doesn't work. We have tried it, it doesn't work, rather than just saying an agreement of so. And also what we have tried is that we see most of our colleagues, when they retire poor. And what is that cause? You serve 35 years in the profession, inflation comes and meets you halfway, then you lose all your savings because of now you have to go to your savings to meet the salaries and the expenses of the office because of time has gone up and it has caught up with you and it left you behind because of you can't make more money than what you used to do. So where now we raise the proposal to say, look at the tax. What takes more money is that we spend more on tax than any other expenses. We pay about 43% into our tax coffers. And then if we register a PTY Limited, a business, then we will pay 20% to 23% of our income. Then everybody, when comes retirement day, you can greet us farewell with a big smile. So today we can confirm that we have invited our veterans, but they are angry. They are not going to come to these small fishes anymore. But that is another day's debate. But the board is also looking at that. And then also, we will continue to engage with relevant speakers as we believe that we may test all these ideas and put them to trial. And then what we will get, at least we are looking at job creation. We don't put things that will benefit us as sheriffs. We must do these things so that we can have create jobs to the young ones. And then also you look at the situation where now training is of one of importance to us. I've gone through 6 provinces, trust account training, auditing, sheriff's administration in offices, and execution and rules of court, Mr. Adimulam, are still a priority. So as you prepare your manuals, please look into that so that we can achieve our objective at the end of the day. And then also we have now realized that we have a challenge in terms of subscriptions, as Mr. Swart has said earlier on. And then also we have the communication department has been introduced in terms of to form the Did You Know. I don't know how many of you check the Did You Know WhatsApp that we always send. Such a beautiful thing, but read. You know, it reminds me, remember, Did You Know the Chappies little paper that we used to have in the old days? But that was most critical information carried by Chappies. So that WhatsApp, please log into that. We share with you as a profession. It is not limited only to sheriffs. And also the newsletter. Some have still engaged to say, no, please provide us with emails. We are trying to meet that also as well. And then also, my colleagues, let me warn you, it is a criminal offense to remove a vehicle from another jurisdiction. It's quicker to make that money, but at the end of the day, each and every sheriff that is sitting here has a right to report you to the board for sheriffs. That a vehicle has been removed in Harankua by the sheriff of Soshanguve. Am I correct? Those are neighboring townships. Yes. Please, let us continue upholding the esteem. Call your colleague and say, stop doing it. If he does it for the second time, you have a right to report that matter to the board. I know in Mpumalanga we have a problem that it was encroachment between organizations. It was also politicized to say, now this is startups and then, but at the end of the day, it's a criminal offense. So please stop doing that, deputies. And also a warning, Ralph, to the deputies that the relationship with the tracers or the, what do you call them, those guys? Bank agents. It is not a handy relationship. It doesn't help the profession. It's actually throwing our name off. Please make sure that when you receive anything on the street, make sure that the office knows about that. And then also the dual membership addressed by Mr. Tau. Yes, it was addressed last year. Yes, we still have members that are in the fence. Yes, they were notified. Some of them, their membership has been questioned as we speak. So please, do not, it is difficult for the EXCO to make a decision in removing a member. It's not an easy thing to expel somebody. So please make our job easier. I was checking there to all the Christians, the book of Matthew 6, I think that says that you cannot serve two masters. You have to love one or the other and hate the other. So this is a situation that I'm putting before you. And if you want the verse, I'll tell you. I'm a pastor, by the way. I'll give you a script. Those who don't know me, my name is Tapelo. Those who know prayer, that's me. Chabet and Africans, that's me now. So if you want to show that and prove that you know me, don't call me Mark, say Tapelo. Carol, tell them. So also, we wish to thank also the board, especially the chairperson for steering this new thing in terms of listening to our word. Our deputies and office staff now, they don't have to wait 40 years like we do. So if you are done with your exams and SIC trainings, then they give you an acting post. It's not the virtue of connection or luck. It's how you present yourself at the workshops. If you participate, you are being noted, and then at the end of the day, you are being given a chance. So also on that note, it's something that I will not know. Congratulations to the 5 members nominated for the board also. We had the board nominations, so the names were handed in. So as we are waiting, we thought that they will be appointed before the elections, but unfortunately, their names hasn't been approved because the minister, as you know, he's one of the busiest person within the government offices. And then also, colleagues, in conclusion, let me take you, for affording me this opportunity to lead and be a steward for the past 2 years. It wasn't easy. Sometimes I had to leave my family. Sometimes the kids are sick, then I have to decide whether I go to the hospital or I attend the 2 o'clock meeting. But as it is, a man of the house, you make a decision that I will always remain in supporting and supplying. So whatever I have learned in this profession is that when you do a mistake, also do it so perfect so that you don't have to repeat that mistake again. If you do something wrong, let it be perfect. Then you don't have to worry about it. And then let me also take this moment to thank the executive, your contribution financially, also taking your own money to travel around. It's not easy. Some members that are serving in the executive, they have smaller offices, Mr. Ivan, but whenever we have a meeting, as I say, report at this place, he will always make it, even though he doesn't have much to offer. But at the end of the day, is that I'm taking his time out of office, I'm tampering with his financial and life, and then most of them all, not forgetting the membership of SASS and Sodesta for trusting and believing in me. You know, when people appoint you to this position, there is something that you are accented to that position. And then most of them all, I would like to thank my Savior for the smart behavior, wisdom, and everything. It's not me, but through God. You know, I pray for each and every one of you every day. When I pray for this profession. And at least you are no longer being undermined like before. But I want to thank you, colleagues, for this service that I have given you, and then also for making our annual general conference a success. Ms. P, your team, you made it something. I didn't expect this. You know, when you come from Gauteng and then you're invited to Bloemfontein, I brought all my short pants, except my broken knee, because I thought maybe you are going to have an experience of being in a farm outside there. But this is very beautiful what you have organized. Thank you so much. And then the planning committee at large, I know it was such a difficult decision to make. Treasury, especially when we have to ask money, don't look at his height. Do not underestimate this height. Because to get R1.50 from him, it looks like the pocket is so deep that he has to bend all the way. And then also the legal team, Nomonde, and your team, you have done such a great work. I really appreciate. Whatever you see, those amendments and all that, is because of the legal team. And I've asked many thousand times, if you have something that you do not understand, don't make your own decision. First, ask them, then they will tell you, you need a lawyer, or this is how you can work with this thing. So also, the Social Development and Responsibility Committee, they are the ones that have organized this. You know, social is not about dancing. It's more of commitment in ensuring that everything is done well. And then lastly is the training committee that I'm looking forward to seeing that all their work is done. And then to all the stakeholders, we still remain committed. Deeds, Susan, and other service providers that we have, attorneys that are here, if they have arrived, we still committed. And then we still wished for you all the things that are good, nothing bad for the next season until we meet again. For now, goodbye. Okay. All right, it is our tradition that when our guest speaker walks in, we just stand up and then in a round of applause as she comes in. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Mangaba, ek gaan net gou-gou vir jou antwoord stel. So jy kan net hier so staan langs my. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and from Free State, from me, welcome. It's my privilege today to introduce to you our guest speaker, Mrs. Estelle de Lange. She is our local magistrate from Bloemfontein, and she's going to address us. I'm just going to give you a short CV of Mrs. de Lange. Mrs. de Lange is qualified with an LLM master's degree. Her position is the sub-regional head of Free State, Cluster A, Region 1 and 2, and certain parts of the Bantu sub-region. Some of her duties entails the overhead management of the Magistrates Court of Bloemfontein and 23 surrounding offices outside Bloemfontein. Her court occupation and then also statistic of the Free State Cluster A. She's also involved with training and appointment of contract magistrates and representing the Chief Magistrate in his absence. Welcome to the SASS AGM, and thank you for addressing our members. Thank you, members.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. It's indeed a pleasure and an honor to address you today. And then, first of all, before I continue, I would just like to apologize on behalf of the Chief Magistrate in Bloemfontein, Mr. Mogobo. He's retiring at the end of this month, going on early pension. And due to that, he has a lot of other commitments, cannot make it today. He had a lot of loose ends to tie up. And as usual, if he's not available, then I normally stand in for him. So that is why I'm here. I know that you would have preferred to meet him, but unfortunately, I'm here. Right. I've been invited to speak on two topics today. Interpleader proceedings emanating from the CCMA and bargaining councils. And then the second topic is attachment. Sorry, not attachment, service by affixing. Apparently, these two topics are raising concerns at the sheriffs. The reason for uncertainty amongst the sheriffs on these two topics are that magistrates have different views on it and they apply the rules differently. Magistrates are creatures of statute, and what that basically means is we are supposed to only follow the laws of the country, the legislation, the Magistrates Court rules, in this particular instance, and the Magistrates Court Act, common law, and so forth. We may not deviate from it, so we can only apply what's in front of us. Except for that, we are also guided by High Court decisions, the Constitutional Court decision, and the Supreme Court of Appeal decisions, if we are uncertain about certain rules and legislation. Sometimes it's not very clear. Now, the Constitutional Court is the highest court of the country, so if they bring out a ruling, then all the courts in this country are bound by it, and they must follow it. And the same goes for the judgments of the Supreme Court of Appeal. If they bring out a judgment, then we are all following those judgments. If there is no decision by the Supreme Court of Appeal on a certain topic, then we follow the decisions of the high courts, of our particular divisions. Now, the Free State, for example, follows, the magistrates in the Free State follow the decisions of the High Court of the Free State. And Gauteng, they follow the Gauteng decisions, and that's how it works. Now, it gets a little bit more complicated. If there's not a decision by the Free State High Court, then we will follow one of the other High Court decisions. And then if there are conflicting decisions in a specific division, then we looked at how many judges were sitting on the decision. Was it a single judge or like a full bench? The full bench will have the biggest decision on a topic. So that's how we basically work with it in simple terms. And that is why there are differences in the different provinces when we deal with the law, because we have to follow our division of the High Court's decision on a specific point. So you will also understand later that there will also be a difference in opinion between the magistrates. Now, service by affixing, there were many conflicting decisions in the different divisions of the High Courts on affixing, and on the 12th of April 2024, there were certain amendments that came into force with regard to the Magistrates' Court rules. Now, subsequent to that, there was also a decision by the Gauteng High Court on the point, and this case is the Hamze trading case. It is spelled Hamze. So I'll talk about the Hamze case a little bit later. Rule 9.3 of the Magistrates' Court rules authorises service of processes by the sheriff, and there are a few options open to the sheriff to follow, and it's numbered A, B, C, D, E in the rules. Now, these different options can be used in the alternative by the sheriff, so it's not necessary to follow a specific one. You can follow any of the others. The Hamze case that I referred to pointed it out, that the sheriffs are not limited to only one of the options. You can follow any of those options. Sub-rule A, that's now Rule 9, Sub-rule 3A, is basically personal service. So a process must be served personally if you use Sub-rule A. B is service at the residence or place of business of the person to a person older than 16, residing or employed there. Also there, it doesn't provide for affixing. The place of employment of a person, that's under Sub-rule C. Place of employment to a person older than 16. That one also does not provide for service by affixing. So the options Sub-rule D and E are the options that are also causing difficulty because there is provision for affixing there. Sub-rule D, I'm just reading it from here because I can't remember all of that offhand. If the person so to be served has chosen a domicilium citandi by delivering a copy thereof at the domicilium so chosen. So if you have to serve at a domicilium, it must be delivered there. Now, it doesn't say what delivery means. There are certain provisos there under that sub-rule, under that rule. Two are specifically mentioned. The first one is provided that, where possible, service at the domicilium so chosen shall be effected by delivering a copy of the process to a responsible person apparently not less than 16 years of age. Further provided that the sheriff shall set out in the return of service the details of the matter and the circumstances under which service was effected. Now, this sub-rule does not make provision for affixing, but it can be read together with sub-rule 5, which makes provision for affixing under circumstances where a person keeps the property closed. I'll talk about that sub-rule a little bit later. And then we have sub-rule E. In the case of a corporation or a company, by delivering a copy to a responsible employee thereof at a registered office or its principal place of business. Now, there are also provisions there that says provided that where service has been effected in the manner prescribed by paragraph E, the sheriff shall set out in the return of service the process, the name of the person and the capacity of the person who receives the process. Then it also states that if there is no such employee willing to accept service by affixing a copy to the main door of such office or place of business or in any manner provided by law. The Hamze case specifically deals with this, where it says that any employee willing to accept service, it creates the impression that there must be an employee there and the person must be willing to accept service, and the person is not willing, so then you can affix it. The Hamze case says they are interpreting it to mean if there is nobody present as well. So if you get there and there is nobody present to accept service, it can be affixed. Now, it is also important to know that there is also there a proviso, provided if the court is not satisfied as to effectiveness of the service, it may order such further steps to be taken as it deems fit. And that is where the problem comes in. The magistrates all have different views on this, and they must be satisfied. They have a discretion, and they will then decide if service was effective. There's a difference between a document that's legally delivered and a document that is effectively delivered. Legally, you deliver it legally in terms of the rule, any of those options available from A to E, or so forth, or you can deliver it effectively. In other words, the court will be satisfied that it was effectively delivered. The courts are finding it very important that the party to the proceedings must actually receive notice of it, actual notice. The question of effective service will be decided on the specific circumstances of each case. There is no hard and fast rule. I see that tomorrow during your sessions you will have a session on Rule 9 and Uniform Rule 2 of the High Court. And I'm not too sure if the Hamse decision will be discussed there. But if it's not, you can just Google it. It is available on the internet. That's where I found the matter. That decision was dated the 6th of May this year, so it's a recent decision, and it's from the Gauteng High Court. Now, the High Court in the Hamse decision found that it is indeed permissible in the case of a company or a corporation to serve a document by affixing it to the main door of the registered office, where there is no one to be found at the particular office. Rule 9.5 that I referred to earlier on states that where the person to be served keeps his or her residence or place of business closed and thus prevents the sheriff from serving the process, then it shall be sufficient to affix a copy thereof to the outer or the principal door or security gate of the residence or the place of business, or to place a copy in the postbox of the residence or the place of business. So what it says is if you can't do personal service and the person is being deliberate and keeps the doors and stuff closed and you cannot get to him, then affixing will also be possible. Now, in the Hamse case, the judge pointed out that it is a fundamental principle of our legal system that someone is entitled to get notice of legal proceedings against them. So it is confirmed what I said earlier on in that Hamse decision. It is important, therefore, for the sheriffs, when they do a return of service, to pay particular attention to it. The return of service will become a document that will be handed in at court when the attorney applies for the court to grant judgment, either by default or whatever. And that return of service is a very important document. We find that some of the returns are very cryptic in nature. We can't hardly see what is actually happening there and how that service happened. It's important to sit down and to pay full attention when you draft your return of service and state there in detail, if it was not personal service, what steps were taken, exactly what happened, what were the circumstances, the surrounding circumstances. And that is, the reason for that is to inform the court in detail. What did you do so that the court can make an informed decision whether to grant the judgment or not. Otherwise, the court will merely query it, send it back, and ask that another attempt must be made in terms of whatever the court wants. So if you do your return of service properly and you provide full reasons for doing it and prove to the court that it was effective service and the best available option that you followed, then there should not be a problem with it. Now, why are magistrates careful about that? Some people will feel that we are very petty about these returns of services. And it's important that we understand why are we as magistrates so particular about it. All our decisions that we take in the court, all our final orders that we make, are subject to appeal or review by a higher court if it can become the subject of review. So if anybody is not satisfied with the decision that we took, it goes on review or appeal to the High Court. And even the High Court's decisions goes on appeal or review to a higher court, where it is absolutely scrutinized by attorneys, the opposing parties, tearing it apart, scrutinizing it, criticizing it. And eventually they succeed and your order is set aside on review or appeal. And it also has a terrible reflection on a magistrate if there's a finding that the magistrate did not really apply their mind properly to the documents and granted an order where it should not have been granted. So it also has an effect on our reputation as magistrates. We try and do whatever we can to make sure that whatever we do will not be set aside on appeal or review. It's a matter of pride. So interpleading procedure of matters emanating from the CCMA is the next topic. There, I really don't understand exactly why it is creating a problem, but I've really discovered that it is a problem. There are some courts claiming that they do not have the jurisdiction to deal with these matters because it's emanating from the CCMA or bargaining councils. That is not so. The Magistrates Court Act makes provision for us to deal with interpleading proceedings emanating from the Labour Court, from any other court. We do have the necessary jurisdiction. So I can't say more than that. We do have the jurisdiction. What happens is we just open a file there, give it a case number, and you deal with it. It's separate from the main issue. We don't deal with the merits of the main issue. It's just the interpleading proceedings. Right now, if you find that there is a problem where a magistrate raises this as a concern and says that I do not have the jurisdiction to deal with a matter that's clearly within his jurisdiction, then it should be brought up and taken to the senior magistrate. The senior magistrate of that particular magistrate in the office. Just go there and discuss it with him and bring it to their attention, because some of the management, they will not be aware of the problem. If you do not succeed, if the senior has the same view, go to the chief magistrate and discuss it with the chief. But we also have meetings. We have regular meetings. We have to have it in all the courts in this country, twice, 3 times, every 2 months, every 3 months. We have these meetings where all the role players that deals with the Justice Department gets together and discusses any problems that arises. Now, at these meetings, we have the management like us, senior, and the chief magistrate attends. We have the chief prosecutor. We have the legal practice council representing the attorneys. We have representatives from the sheriffs, for example, and social welfare and so forth. And they bring all these issues to the meetings, where it is then openly discussed. The issues are raised. We try and find solutions for the problems. And after the meetings, the managers goes back to the staff, and we have separate meetings with them, and we draw that to their attention, and we explain to them how the system works. And in that way, it is actually resolved. So I can't talk about other provinces, but I can say that in the Free State, it has been quite effective. We sort out a lot of problems during these meetings. But we always try and just sort it out in the office first. We have an open door policy. People are welcome to come and see us and to discuss it, and we sort it out. Then, if there are issues where magistrates in the country do not agree or do not follow a uniform approach, I'm also involved in training, so I'm a member of SAJA, facilitator, and SAJA is our training body. It's a national training body, training of magistrates and judges in the country. So we present virtual training to all the magistrates and judges in the country. So if there's a problem that comes up like this, then we arrange for ad hoc training programs and quickly get all the magistrates in the country to log in, and we do a training session and just discuss the issue that was raised so that everybody's on board. Right, so that's all from me. I know that your program was a little bit behind when I arrived, so I hope that I saved a little bit of time so that you can have your lunch at the time that you have to have it.
Okay, guys, I think our speaker deserves another round of applause. She really helped, I think, the guys that's going to do session 2 tomorrow. So thank you very much. Okay. So my task is an easy one. Just to acknowledge the outgoing EXCO and the management of SODESTA. Serving on the national body, for me it was quite challenging. The 2 years that we spent wasn't easy. We did get criticized. It's a pity I don't drink wine, but I know the others were having their shots after that. Me, I just had to drink a bottle of still water and cool my nerves. But part of being a leader, you need to be open for criticism. And you have to deal with it. And we as EXCO members did get it quite a lot from our members. There were times where I just used to sit and say, wow, I just don't know how the other EXCO members past me did it. But we're getting there. We are 12 years not for nothing. It's an organization of choice. And if you want to belong to this organization, then you must get ready for the attacks. And it'll come your way. But we have risen above that storm. We've started to establish our relationships back with our stakeholders, and they are listening to us. Maybe you don't get it down here, but in Johannesburg, SASS is being recognized as an organization of choice. We are the organization that has the most amount of members currently. So well done, and thank you for entrusting us to lead the organization forward. And it's not going to stop there. The new EXCO that takes over is going to take over from us and also get criticized from us as well, because we become normal members. But I'm used to that. And thank you, Mr. President, your leadership, together with the EXCO, Tami, our legal guy, Hanali, Georgina. Yes, we've done it. We pulled it off, and we know now what it is to be a leader. To the SODESTA management, I see that the President did give an undertaking that your bank account will be opened. So it is in the process, it will be opened. And we would like to also wish you well, and your members that are here this afternoon, you are in the right organization. The President did say about the appointments, you will get there. There must be a participation from you. The SODESTA group, there is a WhatsApp group. You will see sometimes the sheriffs will post. That's where you learn. And I'm glad that the speaker that was before me gave you a breakdown of how you need to serve. Now the attorneys will tell you to go on a fix. Remember, you are fixing with no rule. There's no rule for a fixing, for domiciliary. So how you give that return, I don't understand. So, but in any way, that is what we were asked to train, that when you prepare, or deputies, when you serve, that you serve according to the rule. And in my office, I've already implemented. There's no rule for affixing. It's out. SOS, I think, will tell you. There's no rule there. I just say affixing as per the attorney and not in line with the amendment government gazette. And once any magistrate or judge sees that, it's out. So thank you very much. God bless you. I know you're ready for your lunch. I think, Fred, you got one more item for your voting? No. Okay. All right. So I guess we are done, guys. Lunch, we said it's now 10 past. Who else? No, I've done that. Yeah, we acknowledge the EXCO and the Sodesta management, so the outgoing ones. I think it will be congratulations in advance for the new ones. President, lunch we got at 1, how long? Because you got it at... Okay, so let's have lunch. We'll come back at 2. Is that okay? Lunch is served, Petro, outside. Okay, guys.